This interview features medical statistician Matthew Tyler at work at the Institute of Cancer Research. Matthew studies a graph illustrating the survival times of radiotherapy patients. He analyses scientific data and shares his findings with a colleague in a meeting. On a wall in the institute is a timeline of medical breakthroughs. At the STEAM Hub, a robotic arm projects the computer-generated smiley face of IRL.
I'm IRL, an artificial intelligence created to find out information about STEAM careers. Join me in interviewing professionals to explore their work. Welcome to the STEAM Hub. Please state your name and occupation.
My name is Matthew Tyler and I'm a medical statistician. So I work at an organisation called the Institute of Cancer Research. It's actually based here in Sutton. It's an organisation that looks to develop new medicines and methods of detecting cancer. In my particular office, it's sort of a clinical trials unit, so it's looking at once we've found a particular method of treating a certain type of cancer, we then want to recruit participants and see how it's affecting them in the real world.
Were you required to study or train for a qualification?
Yeah, so the main thing with being a medical statistician is to have a postgraduate degree in something like statistics, health data science or epidemiology. So it's anything that you might be working with healthcare data and how you try and analyse that data. My bachelor's was in maths and statistics. Part of that involved working in a pharmaceutical company for a year, so they also developed medicines, so that was in lung cancer, migraines and diabetes. And then after doing that in my bachelor's, I then did a master's in health data science.
How does science, technology, engineering or maths play a role in your work?
Whenever we're looking at information or data about how a medicine is working, we need to understand the science behind it. For cancer, it can be looking at things like, has the cancer spread to someone's body? We want to also look at things like what are the diameter of tumours. All that information and the science behind it helps us sort of translate our information into statistical results. That also involves a lot of maths as well. Once you can sort of picture the data in your head, you can then figure out exactly what sort of statistics you need to analyse it.
Please outline the core criteria you would consider essential to have in your job and why.
So I think you've got to be curious, you've got to like solving problems. A big thing with my work is looking at data and trying to figure out what are we seeing here, and then try and figure out actually why are we seeing this in the data, what could be causing this. For example, with safety, are we seeing that some patients are having problems with the treatment? That's really important in my work to make sure that everyone's kept safe. Coding's really good as well. And that's how we get all our analyses done. It's sort of how do we present data, how do we analyse data, how can we make things a bit more efficient, trying to figure out the right models. I think something else as well is you need to be able to discuss statistics to people outside of statistics. So it's the statistician's job to look at the data, make sense of it, and then feed back to people like doctors or other people within my organisation. We need to be able to communicate exactly what we're seeing, what do our sort of analyses, what are our models saying. That's also a really interesting aspect of the work.
Final question. Considering the young adult audience assessing this interview, please respond. Why is STEAM important to you?
I think STEAM's really important because it's how we make a change in the real world. For me, STEAM in my job is how we can look at new medicines for cancer and try and help people. So I think it's really about taking your interest that you have at school, that you've had at university, and translating that into a job where you can really make a difference in the world and you can really help people.
Text on screen. Interview complete. Sutton STEAMs Ahead is a project funded by a Cultural Impact Award as part of the Mayor of London's London Borough of Culture programme and the National Lottery Heritage Fund.